Hello, everyone. My name is Jade Parkinson. I'm a pediatrician as well as a preventive medicine doctor. I had a practice in Williamsburg, Brooklyn that sort of looked like this. Basically, I was a new kind of doctor. You could call me, you could email, you could IM me. I would do a house call. And you'd pay me via PayPal, basically. So I didn't have an office. I didn't have a staff. I just basically ran my practice about 10% overhead, compared to about 70% overhead for a regular doctor's office. So it was a real game changer for me, as well as I think for the healthcare system. And then I went on to create something called Hello Health, which is, if you can imagine, a secure Facebook for platform to power healthcare, so that doctors can document and get paid, and patients can email, IM, and video chat and have all their records in one place. That's Hello Health. So that has basically, sorry, that's basically led to me to sort of try to solve the healthcare system in a new way. Healthcare system right now has a cost problem. It costs about $13,000 per year per employee for companies to insure their employees. In 2020, it's going to cost about $29,000 per employee. That's a serious problem. Sorry. It also has a business model problem because doctors get paid for sickness. So the more sick a population gets, the more doctors make. So it's sort of designed at its core to function out of control. And it also has an efficiency problem, a process problem. 50% of office visits are unnecessary, but doctors bring you in because that's the way they get paid. So I have a design firm called The Future Well. In a few months, we're releasing something that's sort of like a health buddy. It's like an online triage system where you can go and you can tell us your problem, and then we'll sort of triage you where you need to go so that you don't waste 50% of those office visits and 50% of your money. So if you need to see a specialist, go directly to the specialist. It sort of looks like this. It's not designed yet, so don't pay too much attention to that. But really what I'm thinking is healthcare needs a revolution in a lot of ways. And I believe that Gen Y will lead this revolution. And I like to call Gen Y the cleanup generation, because we're basically cleaning up from generations prior who had so much short-sightedness that they're leaving us a bunch of crap. So I would like to think of us as cleaning up this problem. We're not really used to inefficiencies, you know. I mean, we're going to use things like ZocDoc, which is like Open Table for doctors, right? We're also going to expect conversation. And this is what patients get whenever they log into Hello Health. It's just a nice, secure, little, simple email system so that they can ask doctors questions. And doctors can get paid for their services so that it sort of changes the dynamic. Doctors don't just get paid for in-person office visits. They get paid for communication. So we're also collaborators in a lot of ways. This is ACORE. This is about 150,000 strong group of people who are discussing their cancer diagnosis. They're connecting, learning from another, and if it's a rare disease, they're actually teaching their doctors about the best therapy. We're also very socially conscious, so we're going to invent new ways to cover each other. This is a company called MediShare. It's about 45,000 Christians across America, all paying about $250 to each other to cover their medical bills. We're definitely going to value transparency. This is, whenever I have a problem like a broken hip, I'm going to go to somewhere like Bumrungrad in Thailand, where I know that the most expensive hip replacement I'm going to need is $18,000. At minimum, it's about $11,000. You can't get that here in America. So we very much see the value in sharing, as we all sort of understand. This is a company called Patients Like Me. It's about 55,000 people who have chronic diseases. Imagine a Facebook designed specifically for them to share their stories and learn from each other, find out what other people are getting treated with, and find out other people's symptoms. So, sorry. I think we as a generation want health and happiness unlike no other. You know, I look at this as you're sort of your CEO of your body, and doctors are sort of consultants for you, because essentially you spend about 1 hour a year with your doctor and about 8,764 without. So we're going to design all these programs and tools that we have to sort of take advantage and take care of our own health on our own. Something like Nike Plus, where you can connect with other people. But we're also tinkerers. You know, we have things like Foursquare, which can sort of passively, you know, give us data about our life. And then we have things like the Withing scale, which can sort of, all we do is step on the scale once a day, and it uploads into our profile, and we can see our weight on a daily basis. It's a Wi-Fi connected scale. It's pretty interesting stuff. And we also have iPhones that analyze our sleep. You just put it on your mattress, and all of a sudden it gives you a report the next day how well you slept. It's really super interesting stuff because, we're also creative problem solvers. Just a few days ago, the Padres pitcher used his iPhone to diagnose appendicitis and call up the trainer, and he had an appendectomy in just a few minutes later. So we are pretty creative, but most importantly, we expect design. It's not just, pretty stuff. It's basically this process that creates an ecosystem of things that are, products and services that are actually much simpler than they look. So nobody can ever think of anything better than this. They design a physical space, an iPhone, right? And then they design the services around that iPhone. And then they design, support for you whenever you break your iPhone. And then they designed physical in-person support for you. And then they designed a whole creative, communication strategy around this, right? So my point in all of this is that all of this was designed from the ground up to function as one pleasant the whole experience. Imagine if health was designed that way. Healthcare was never really designed. It sort of just happened. It looked like this a long time ago, and now it looked like this very inviting thing like that. And then, now we have this lovely inviting thing as well. But all this stuff was designed whenever clean water, vaccines, and antibiotics sort of solved healthcare's problems, right? And then our life expectancy, we saved the kids, so our life expectancy went up by about 40 years. But now we have problems like this, right? And we have problems like this. These are video gamers' portraits. And we have problems like this, right? And we're all sort of eating badly, sitting on our asses all the time. And, doctors are giving us pills so we look like this. And they also occasionally give us a scalpel, so it sort of hurts and we get better, or something like that. Do pills and scalpels really solve social behavioral problems? Bad lifestyle is the most deadly disease in America nowadays. Are docs really meeting our health needs with just pills and scalpels? Are we viewing our health as a social sustainability issue? Are we taking personal responsibility for our own actions? My argument is that we need to really design healthcare and the health experience based on today's needs, not today's supply. 90% of us are light demanders, actually. 10% of us spend about 80% of $2.5 trillion. So what does that mean? The light user problems, which is essentially 90% of us, we have really simple problems to solve. So we have things like broken arms, we have things like asthma, acne, we have some depression, anxiety. It's a totally different profile than older people disease, right? So let's solve the simple problems first. Generation Y has these simple problems. 90% of America has simple problems. And we're all thrown into the same horrible experience next to this 90-year-old with like 900 medical problems. We all get that horrible, disorganized experience. So I think we should create a new health experience. And I think we should definitely let Gen Y design that experience. Because the iPhone was essentially built for us, right? I mean, that's sort of, it was designed to cater to the new lifestyle, the new way of doing business, and the new way of communicating and connecting. So the iPhone now, my mom is texting me, and my dad is sending me things on his iPhone. It took about 3 years for that to happen, right? But it really revolutionized communication in our society in a lot of ways and pushed the whole industry to do things in a better way. So I think that we can do the same for health. And I think because if you design things from the ground up to function well, you'll have a great experience. And this is sort of what I want to leave you all with. I really want just a happiness pill for us all. So please, thank you.
Thanks, Doc.